Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot, and tonight, as per usual, we're going to do a little bit of science. Specifically, we're going to test out some of the new sandbox options that got added in patch 1.6. With the addition of the 7 new challenge mode maps, I feel a lot of this kind of got swept under the rug and ignored a little bit, but there's some really cool stuff in here that I haven't experimented with personally myself, and I know there's one thing in particular that people have been asking me about a lot and are very curious about, and that's whether you can now fully disable carnivore versus herbivore fights. Now, I've heard rumours and people have suggested as much, but I've never actually tested it out for myself, and that's exactly what we're going to do today, along with some other stuff. The first thing I want to show you guys, again, is something that's a really cool little change that's kind of being ignored, is this little change right here. And this is something I've been asking for a while. So if you try to make a fence now and you go around here, it kind of looks relatively normal, but there's this sort of white line, and the reason that is for this. We can finally see where our fences are when they're going through the trees. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but you know, there's been a lot of times it's been really difficult to know exactly where your fences are when you're trying to build through the trees. What would be really good is the option to turn on so that I can permanently see the white line. Like, I'd like to be able to see the white line right now and just have that as a toggle sort of option. But there's also a little extra thing where if you bring that forward, okay, bring it forward a little bit further, boop, you also get a little circle when the fence snaps. Now, it's not a big deal, but I suppose it's worth commenting. There's quite a few little quality of life changes in this update that have gone past the wayside, but that's not what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on these two things over here, two of the big changes in the patch, and we're going to start over here on the right hand side. I have myself 9 Stegosauruses. Having a grand old time. Do it max social, so they're sort of squaring up to each other and being aggro, but they're not killing each other. When your carnivore-able herbivores, pre-patch 1.6, got over their social limit, they would start to murder each other. I tried to make a massive herd of Stegosauruses, in fact, so I could have them migrate across the map because I thought it would look really cool, and unfortunately they just murdered each other in cold blood. In patch 1.6 we have a new option. Now, we'll have a quick look at all the sandbox options. So we've got no failed incubations, so I've got that on. I still wish we had instant incubations. I don't know why that's not a thing, but no failed incubations is handy. You no longer need to waste points in sandbox mode on your incubation success rate. Dinosaur social population and habitat requirements are now an option as well, so you can set whether your dinosaurs need specific numbers of other dinosaurs. That alone opens the door a lot to some possible exhibit combinations. Dinosaurs that were a pain in the past, like Ankylosaurus, can now live with 100 other dinosaurs. If you want a pack of 100 T-Rexes, you could in theory now do that. That's really cool. And also, if you want to not mess with those and kind of stick with those limitations, which is fair enough, we also have the ability for herbivores to initiate fights. So I've left these at pretty much default. Combat frequency still on, that's the other one we're going to look at tonight. Herbivores unable to initiate fights is on. The only one disabled really is habitat requirements because I can't be bothered with it. And what we're going to do, we've got 9 Stegosauruses here, which is their social max. We're going to release another few. I've got 4 ready to go. We're just going to pop out all of these Stegos right here. And what we should see is an instant change in their attitude once that other one pops into existence there. Right there, overcrowded. This is also new. Something else I want to mention. This little thing here says overcrowded. If the dinosaurs are lonely, it will tell you that they're lonely. If they're hungry, it'll just tell you the status of your dinosaurs. It's a really cool little addition, so you don't need to figure out what you're looking at by the bars. You can just say, overcrowded. I have too many dinosaurs. And that is obviously the case. Now, what should happen is that the Stegosauruses start to murder each other. The idea is we're going to do both of these, and then I'm going to load up the save again, because I've just saved it a minute ago. We're going to swap those toggle options over to the other side. We're going to do the test again and see if the same thing happens. But it's like they're thinking about it, but they've not quite decided to murder each other yet. We'll see what happens. And there we go. Didn't take long at all. They don't even have to lower their comfort all the way down. Herbivores are able to initiate fights, so as soon as you go over the social limit on your herbivores, as long as these are fighting capable herbivores, things like the hadrosaurs won't do it because the hadrosaurs can't fight, but your fighting capable herbivores like the stegosaurs and the ankylosaurians, they will start to murder each other, and these aren't tester fights. They will full on murder each other. You might see it in a moment. This one's one hit away from, they're both one hit away from death. If they don't back off, and they do, no, they are going to back off, but they will kill each other. They will full on murder each other. Now, we're going to move over to this other exhibit here. We'll load up the save and check that one out again in a moment. In my lovely little park here, we have 2 Dracorexes. Just got their social need. 2 little Dracorexes having a lovely time. And we also have an Iguanodon. Just because I love the Iguanodon. Now, there's really no reason to show this. We know what's going to happen. But we're going to release a Carcharodontosaurus. I need a before and after. This is science. You need like your baseline test before we can look at the variables. Plus, it's fun to play around with the Carnivores a little bit. I am of the opinion, as said by some other people, that the head is a little bit too squished. It should be bulked up a little bit at the snout. Now, the Carnivores did have quite a pointy face, but it wasn't this pointy. This is excessively pointy. I think it could just be raised a little bit at the front, a little bit squared off there, and it would look a little bit better in general. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't really like these little spikes at the side either. It's a little bit aggro, a little bit heavy metal, emo, you know, edgy little teenager for my liking, but maybe they were there in real life. I don't know. I actually don't know that. I don't know why they would be, but it's a big spiky boy. That's fine. So really all I want to see is Carnivores murder something. That's all we need. Carnivores needs to kill something, just to make sure that our... What would you even call it? There's a term for it. I've completely forgotten, but whatever. There we go! Carnivores murders Dracorex. Fun for the whole family. Moving on! Okay, so we're going to do the same again, but we're going to hop into sandbox settings and we're going to turn off herbivores able to initiate fights. Now we're going to leave their social requirements on, because I want to see this interaction. So their social requirements are still a maximum of 9, they will still be aggro with each other, and in theory, in normal circumstances, before patch 1.6, they should try to murder each other. If this works, as it should, I mean, you could just turn social off, I don't know if that would work, but I just really like the idea of being able to finally make a massive herd. And it seems a little weird to have the herbivores able to initiate fights thing and the social thing, because you could in theory just turn the social thing off and that would stop mattering. But if you wanted a little bit of a challenge, I don't really know, I'm trying to figure out what the point in that is. I suppose this lets you have social requirements for some dinosaurs and not for others. But these 3 Stegosauruses are being released, and what we'll do is we'll leave them to it for a moment, let them do their thing. And hopefully we just never... Already, I don't see any aggroness. It took a little bit of time last time, so we're going to leave them to it. We're going to move back over here. And we're also going to hop into Sandbox. Now, this is the question people have been mainly asking. Does dinosaur combat frequency affect the chances of carnivores killing herbivores? Because it doesn't necessarily sound like it would. Like, that Carnivore just murdered that Dracorex. That wasn't combat. There was no combat involved there. The Carnivore just went up to it and murdered it. It didn't have to do anything else. There was no combat involved. Will it stop the Carnivore murdering the Dracorex? I'm really hopeful it does, because what that means is we can have mixed carnivore and herbivore exhibits in our parks. You know, we can make really elaborate mixed species exhibits and never have to worry about our dinosaurs dying, ever. And further to that, it gets us a lot closer to a true Site B. The problem with Site B at the moment is twofold. One, that you need feeders. I have to wait just a little bit because I don't want to turn off combat before these have kind of had the chance to murder each other. What was I saying? I was saying something very exciting and important. Yes, so there's 2 problems. Well, there's classically been 2 problems. One is that you still need feeders. I really hope this is something that gets changed. Just make dinosaurs not need to eat, basically. You know, turn it off as a toggle option. That way we can have no feeders in the game. Water, I think, is a fair one to still include, but because the feeders are man-made, it's kind of annoying. The other problem with, like, a true unedited Site B is that your dinosaurs would eventually die because the carnivores would hunt. Unless you had only herbivores, your carnivores would hunt down and murder them. Also, the problem is that because of how this game takes social and population limits into account, if you have one big open exhibit that's the entire map, then the population and social requirements will still be as if it's, you know, this tiny ass little box right here. Because that's just how the game is coded. These are definitely not murdering each other. They're not even squaring up to each other. There's no aggro little max social need little fights that they have. You know, they never hit each other, but they kind of square up and go, Mah! They're not even doing that. Cool. Well done, herbivores. So, let's turn off combat completely. Maximum. Very exciting, but we don't want that. Turn off combat. I'm quite excited about this, because this is really going to open the door to... If you can't, at the end of the day, if your carnivores can't murder herbivores, then you can do a Site B. You'd have to hide some feeders around, but other than that, you can do a Site B. Well said, buddy. What's the term for this? Is it contented? Yes, content. So, it only took a couple of seconds last time. Carnivore went forward, had a little drink. big old spiky pointed headed so-and-so, and then it murdered Dracorex because it's hungry. It's like J-Pog, when a dinosaur's first born, it tends to hunt as like an initial impulse. You can see its food is, by default, fairly low. Now, one of the patches we had a while ago let you basically made it so dinosaurs won't hunt if not hungry. And that was a step in the right direction. Because at the end of the day it's sandbox mode, all we want is more options. Will turning off combat stop it murdering anything? That is the question. That is the question. A brief pause to look at this sleepy iguanodon because it's absolutely adorable. This has honestly quickly become one of my absolute favourite, probably a top 5 favourite dinosaur in the entire game. It is awesome. It's just so cute. It's unique animations, a great model. It's everything you want from a new dinosaur in this game. Anyways. So folks, it's been a few minutes now, and I think it's safe to say the Carcharodontosaurus has no interest in hunting the other dinosaurs. What's also really interesting, never mind, I was about to say the dinosaurs don't even panic, but they clearly do because the Iguanodon just had a little panic. So never mind that, but clearly it's not interested. I mean, the Dracorex isn't panicking, the Dracorex is just walking past, not a care in the world. Now, what we want to do is turn the combat back on and see if how fast it works, basically, and also whether it applies to... Oh, yeah, let's go maximum. And whether it applies to dinosaurs that have already been born, because some of the stuff in this game doesn't impact existing dinosaurs sort of thing. It's a little bit messy. So I've turned combat frequency up to maximum. It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. And straight away, it turns for the Dracorex and charges forward. Oh, and changes his mind. And there we go, dead Iguanodon. Took about 2 seconds after turning it back on. So it does work, and that is really, really cool. We can turn it off, no dinosaur will kill any other dinosaur. We can stop combat altogether, essentially, and yeah, that's going to make it... We're going to be able to make some really cool parks. This did go under the radar a little bit, but the sandbox mode in this game just keeps getting better and better and better. The sheer number of options we have compared to... I think when we started the game we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 8 or 9, 10 maybe, and now you have to scroll down, it's doubled. It really has. It's incredible what we can do now, and Frontier deserve a lot of credit for what they've done to this sandbox mode. I think it's pretty awesome. So, thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. Science confirmed. You can now turn off all dinosaur combat completely. We can go and we can build ourselves a Site B, and that's definitely something we're going to do in a future park. We're going to make a full-on Site B, and we also may integrate it into our future parks as well. So stick around on the channel for all those. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers, much love, as always. Bye-bye. A little shout out at the end. This video and others like it would not be possible at all without the support of you guys watching me at home, and also everyone on this Patreon page right here who supported me in the last month. If you want to help out as well, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. Every little really helps. Cheers.